Morning, friends. I trust you're all doing well. The weather is just absolutely beautiful today. It's cold. It's very nippy, but it's sunny and it's a beautiful day. You know, when my wife and I were going through a period of change, I'll call it, where the Lord was asking us to make some changes, some of which were challenging, some of which were difficult, but they were all different. And as I was struggling to get a victory over alcohol, somewhere in that time period, Darlene came to me and she said, "Look, I have to change the way I dress." And that kind of shocked me. I thought, what? We went to her closet and she said, "I can't wear these clothes anymore." And what had happened is she had developed a relationship with God and He was speaking to her heart and gave her conviction that needed to change. It never would have occurred to me. It wasn't my idea, but Darlene said, "I can't dress like this anymore." And as I look back on our lives, which we're kind of controlled by fashion and the desire to have people look at us, you dress the way you dress, you wear your hair the way you wear it, you do the things that you do to draw attention to yourself, maybe not consciously. But that's the result. Back in high school, when Darlene was in high school, she was a cheerleader there. The sports teams are playing and the cheerleaders are, jumping up and down on the sidelines, and this is what they were wearing, not wearing many clothes. And that's just a prevailing mindset that develops even in high school. So when Darlene got out, it continued. And by the time I met her, here's a picture of Darlene on her motorcycle. And of course, this was winter. When I met Darlene, she was on the same motorcycle, but it was summer. And she was wearing a bathing suit and some very short shorts. And that was just the norm in the world that we inhabited. It was a secular world. My wife was a Buddhist and a New Age spiritualist. Our ideas about modesty, well, that would come much later. In the Bible, 1 Timothy 2 verse 9, women should adorn themselves in modest apparel. I don't think I'd ever heard the word modest. Didn't know what it meant. But there Darlene is, and is telling me she can't dress the way that she dresses. And our history before that. Here's a picture. We were at a pottery show. Darlene was an artist, right? She was into painting and handmade pottery and baskets and different things. And you see she's wearing, combat boots and the army fatigues. There are times when she would dress almost like a man. Here's another time we were doing some climbing with some ropes, and if she'd almost look mannish. And there are other times where she hardly wear any clothes at all. This is camping, right? This is just the way we dressed. This is another picture from the casual attire that we used as we were, working there on the farm in different places. And so for her to tell me that she can't dress like that anymore, it was a wake-up call for me. I never even considered the fact that the way we dressed, the way we looked. Here's a picture of me. This is the way I looked back then too, and it was all to gain attention for ourselves, to draw attention to us. But that was all foreign concept. All I could fathom at the moment she told me that was, it's going to be a big shift in the way you dress. Because to go from, like a mannish attire where she almost dressed like a man or hardly wore any clothes at all, what do you wear? And so the change began to take place. And Darlene we weren't reading from the Bible, we weren't studying about modest lifestyle. It's just as she prayed and thought about what kind of clothes would be pleasing to God, this is what she started wearing. And it was different. I look at my wife now and what I'd see, it made a very, very different visual impression upon me. It had an influence on the home, and I could begin to see more clearly that the changes God was asking us to make were beneficial to maintaining the barriers in a secret, sacred circle. The husband, the house band, the protector of the home. Inside is a sacred circle. You've got the husband, you've got the wife, and you have the influence of God. But there are certain things that you can do to break down that sacred circle, and immodesty and dress was one of them. These are the words I never ever thought I'd be uttering, 35, 40 years ago. But I saw it. As we began to understand the changes God was asking us to make was to help us and not to hurt us. And what it first initially looked like giving something up, really we saw that it was receiving great blessings. And so here's a picture of my wife today in the garden. Today, almost 35 years later, this is the way she dresses as she works in the garden. Quite a change. My dear friends, may God bless you today, give you just a world of comfort in your heart, and pray that today you would find a very near and abiding Savior. I'm going to stretch a string. Plumb lines in her hand. Straight string, straight row. Crooked string, crooked row. Narrow is the way and straight is the gate. It's a straight road to heaven. The plumb line's been stretched. So my wife is transplanting strawberries. These will be the strawberry beds of next year. Trying to get the string straight for the rows. She's already done some tilling, built up the bed, and now trying to get some strings marked up so we can transplant the strawberries in preparation for what we hope will be a great harvest next year, strawberries, which means strawberry pie on the table.
And that makes us all happy.
That makes us all very, very happy.
Ready?